Hello and welcome back to another puzzle video. This is the second video in the series. We got pretty good responses on the first one. It actually turned out to be my best video to date, I believe. Um, so we're making another of these, and this puzzle is very interesting. This puzzle, Black has a rook, a pawn, and a king versus a bishop and a rook. If Black's rook gets out of this square, if Black's rook gets like here or something, then this is just a very simple draw. This is a theoretical draw, simply because a bishop and rook versus rook is a draw. Very simple theory. Now, the only thing about this puzzle to know is that this puzzle, if Black's rook gets out of this corner, it can get out, but if Black's rook escapes the predicament that it's in, then this will be a draw, and we have to win the game, of course, and we don't want to draw. So by that means, I'm going to let y'all pause the video and think about it while I talk about some stuff. So I'm really grateful for all the comments on the last video in the series, and I hope that many of you enjoyed it. So I'm gonna be keeping doing this as long as I could find more interesting puzzles. This puzzle is probably not as good as the last one, I have to admit, but I still think that it's worthy enough to make a video over. So yeah. Now let's get into the explanation. I think that was long enough. Obviously, your first instinct is to try and skewer the king and rook with some bishop move, like let's say bishop here, and then you're going to play rook here and win the rook. But the issue with the move like bishop h3 or something, just super random, like maybe bishop here, this move is obviously bad, but if the bishop comes to a3, then Black already has one of these moves, either king here or some rook move like this, and he's going to be able to get his rook out because now the skewer just doesn't work, and this is just easily a draw. Bishop and king cannot checkmate another king. So then you might think, okay, well, what about this move? And we say, well, I might have some discovered checks. You never know. You never know. I might have some discovered checks. You might be tempted by playing this because after this move, then you have this check, and you're going to pick up the rook and win the game. But unfortunately, again, in this position, Black can have multiple different things. Black can like move his king up. It can't be to a dark square because if it's a dark square, then you have some bishop checks. But Black can just move his king up, and he's completely fine. His rook is getting out. Theoretical draw. We don't want a theoretical draw. So now we know that it's not a rook move, and it's not some stupid thing like a bishop a3, right? So let's get into more of the meat and potatoes. Now, you might say, well, Black only has a couple of moves to. White only has like a couple moves to bring everything right. White can move the bishop with tempo while threatening this. Then Black has a move to stop it, like either rook here, king here, or this pawn move. This pawn move doesn't do anything, so we're not even going to focus on that. And let's put this on the board. Let's say bishop. Bishop a6, bishop h6, for example, threatening this. Now your opponent plays this move, right? And if you give this check here, we'll say we get another check. He comes here, and he's defending the rook. So we can't allow that, right? We can't allow the rook to escape. So how are we supposed to stop the rook from escaping? And you might also say another little line. Let's say here, if the rook comes to b8, then we have check this move, and this check will pick up the rook. So that's why rook b8 is pretty much illegal in all lines. Let's say a move like bishop d6. Now my opponent will have to move his king or move his rook. Let's say he moves his rook. Let's say rook c8. This move is one of the most combative. Now we have to see what happens after this check. He comes up. We can't allow that. So the rook check doesn't work. But the bishop check doesn't do anything. This bishop check doesn't have any discovered attacks. So that means that that move is not correct. And then you must focus on one of these two moves to figure out the answer. If bishop c5, your opponent goes here, you have this check, and now he has to walk away from the rook. But it's not over, because after here, he guards the rook and theoretical draw. So what do you have to find here after king here? The move that you have to find is this move, bishop c7. And this is why I really like this puzzle. This is why I picked this puzzle. Because if he moves the rook, and if he moves the king, he gets skewered, right? But, so you say, okay, well, he has the pawn move. This is his only move, otherwise he's in Zugzwang. Move the king, here. Actually, that would be a mistake. Move the king here, check, and you block the pawn. Very important that you don't take it, because if you take it, he moves out with check, he gets his rook out, theoretical draw. So you have to block the pawn, and now your opponent's in Zugzwang, and they have to play this move. Check, here, and you're winning. But that's not the end of the story. There are multiple different lines after, let's say bishop b4 now, because these are the only two moves that keep that alive. Of course, bishop b4 might run into this, but then you have the skewer, so we don't even have to worry about that. And rook c8 is just the same thing, but a move back, and you get to c7. Now, the only other move to contemplate is this move, king to c8. Very important. Now, of course, if we give this check here and theoretical draw. Then after king to c8, we must realize that, okay, well, the king is on c8. It's being annoying. I don't like it there. It's going to come and defend the rook. Let's get him into another Zugzwang position. Let's play this move, bishop here. Bishop a5. Now we cut off the king from the square. And then the king will be able to walk over here, right? And this is kind of like the only move. If he comes here with the rook, it's probably a draw, in all honesty. I haven't calculated this far, but this is probably a mistake. You get some discovered checks, but he just comes back here. There's really nothing. So then bishop a5 is a mistake, right? But then how else will we be able to stop the king from getting over there? How else will we be able to get on this diagonal and stop the king from getting over there? Well, bishop c5, of course. After king here, bishop b6, we stop the king from coming over here, and black really only has a couple moves. But black has many moves here, actually. One, this move is kind of scary now. Simply because black is starting to come here, to come to this square with the rook, and he's keeping everything together. And two, he still has this move, and this is still a draw. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Just a draw. So then what is the answer? And now we have to come back all the way to, let's see if I can find it in my notes. Back all the way to this line after here, and he comes over here, but the king is in time to stop the pawn. Now after we get to this line, we realize, okay, well, what is the point of this? Black is unable to take the bishop. Black is unable to do anything. He's in Zugzwang. His rook is trapped by our bishop. And so we have to find the same idea after the move bishop c5, which is the move. And this move, main line, king c8. And now we have bishop a7. And black returns to the Zugzwang, and the king ends up stopping the pawn. And actually the king can take the pawn in this case, because it's totally fine. Eventually the king will have to move here, check, and we will win the rook, and that is the end of the puzzle. So I hope you guys enjoyed. It's not as good as last week's puzzle. I know last week's puzzle was very nice, but this puzzles are hard to come by. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys found this instructive, entertaining, all the above. Comment down below what you got on, like how far you got in your calculations. If you saw the line, congrats. This is still a very tricky puzzle to solve. Not as tricky as the last one, but still very hard. Yeah, hope you enjoyed. Hope you found this entertaining. Good evening and good night.